Today, at the beginning of the third week of the trial of the Jobstown not guilty defendants, we had the first 2 of 50 Garda witnesses give their testimony. Detective Inspector McGuire outlined an agreement which was made between the protesters and the Gardaí to slow march the car containing Joan Burton out of Jobstown if the public order unit were withdrawn. He quoted Paul Murphy putting this agreement to the crowd, saying, "If they withdraw the public order unit, do we agree to let her go?" Earlier on, Garda McGuinness took the stand. Under questioning, she admitted that she had no crowd control training. She also referred to the protesters as a mob. Under severe pressure in questioning, she said that a rock was thrown at the car. However, when her own statement was read back to her, there was no mention of a rock. She also claimed that protesters had tried to push the car containing Joan Burton into a wall. However, again under questioning, it was brought out that in fact the protesters were trying to stop the car reversing into them. We spoke to Diana O'Dwyer, who was in court, about these issues.
Yeah, today was the first Garda witness on the stand, Garda McGuinness, and this was really interesting testimony because of a few things that she said which, just didn't really seem to add up. For example, she was describing how when she was in the car with Joan Burton, that the driver of the car, another guard, tried to reverse the car to get out, but all she said was that he turned on the engine. But then when she was cross-examined, she admitted that actually he revved up the car and that he tried to reverse it back into the protesters. And the defence said to her, did you get Garda training for crowd control that would have advised you that a good thing to do during a protest would be to reverse a car into a load of protesters? And she said, well, I never got any training in crowd control at all. Yeah, when she was being cross-examined today, Garda McGuinness claimed that a rock had been thrown at the protest. The defence barrister noticed straight away that this was the first this had ever been mentioned and said to her, you didn't mention this in your opening statement today and you didn't mention this in the statement that you gave to guards before. And you're an experienced guard, you've been a guard since 2004. Is it credible that you would have forgot to mention a rock being thrown before, but you would have mentioned about eggs and other things being thrown?
Earlier on in the day, Karen O'Connell, Joan Burton's assistant, was back in the stand. She was again questioned on her role in protests in Rossport and the Shell to Sea campaign. She continued to draw a distinction between what had happened in Rossport and what had happened in Jobstown. She was also questioned about comments which she made in the back of the car. In one comment, it is put to her that she maintained the presence of mind to respond to a claim by a protester that the Labour Party had cut breakfast clubs. She was also questioned once again on her "fucking dregs" comment. The Oxford English Dictionary of dregs was read out to her, which says that a dreg is the most worthless or useless part of something. She again denied that she was referring to protesters or the people of Jobstown when she made this reference. The most interesting line of questioning was around whether Karen O'Connell had been coached in terms of what she should say. We spoke to Diana O'Dwyer about these issues.
She was again trying to say that, that wasn't really as bad as it sounded. And basically what the defence barrister did was he read out the definition of dregs from the Oxford Dictionary, which says it can be like the end of a cup of coffee, which would be the sort of grains of coffee that are left at the bottom of the cup, or it could refer to the dregs of society. And he put it to her, were you thinking of a cup of coffee or were you talking about the people of Jobstown when you made that comment? And, there was really sort of no answer she could make to that. The defence barrister also noted that Karen O'Connell kept repeating the same phrase of, we were unable to leave, we wanted to leave, but we were unable to leave. So he said to her, I have to ask you, were you coached about what the legal definition of false imprisonment is before you came into this court? And is that why you keep repeating that phrase?
So the trial resumes tomorrow at 2 o'clock when Minister Catherine Zappone will take the stand and will then be followed by more Gardaí. Remember to keep tweeting #JobstownNotGuilty to maintain our social media presence.